Um, my name is Liza Simile, and I'm the Syracuse Surge Workforce Manager. And at a very high level, I manage employer relationships and relationships with our community partners in a way that we all need to come together and think of strategies, because we understand and know that not one organization can solve the issues of training, attraction, retention, and advancement, which is a model that we created to kind of simplify the work that we're doing. And within that, we've created the industry partnership where we have employers around the table and our community partners as well. And those include Erie 21, which you kind of heard of earlier in the summit, Onondaga Community College, SUNY EOC, Upstate, the Syracuse School District, Say Yes, On Point, MACNY, all coming together to the table to create strategies for employers. We have employers at a table all together, understanding that there is some competition, but we all have the same challenges. And today you're going to hear the T in TERRA, which is the training, attraction, retention, and advancement. And kind of like some of the ways they've adjusted now in the time of COVID, and how they're reaching a larger audience in our community. So I want to introduce this panelist today. We are joined with Tim Penix with SUNY EOC. Jesse, I butchered your last name. I am Puerto Rican, so it's my Latina accent. I'm going to go ahead with Peplinski.
You got it perfectly right, Liza.
Okay, beautiful. With Upstate. And John Robinson with Our Ability. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to our guests for coming today. If each of you can take around 90 seconds to give me an overview of your organization, that would be great. And we can start with Tim, since you're at the top of my screen.
Me? You said Tim?
Yes.
Yes, sorry. Yes, and those I just presented. Some of you may have seen it, but the Syracuse SUNY EOC is an adult training and basic education center that is a part of the State University of New York. And as I mentioned, we really were a creation of the civil rights movement back 50 years ago when there were turbulent times such as they are now. A few members lobbied the governor of New York State to offer access to higher education. As a result, EOP and HEOP were developed in colleges, and then in urban areas, they developed the educational opportunity centers, what they're called today. Their original name was outreach centers, with the sole purpose of providing individuals access to employment, workforce development, as well as access to preparation to higher education. There are 10 of us across the state. Ours in Syracuse, we've been here 50 years. And again, our sole purpose is to provide that type of programming for individuals at no cost.
Thank you, Tim. Let's kick it over to Jesse.
Awesome. Thanks, Liza. I'm really happy to be here today with everyone, and thanks again for having me. My name is Jesse Peplinski. I'm one of the partners at Upstate. And our underlying mission at Upstate is to advance Central and Upstate New York's technology community through events and education. So we do that in two ways. First, we organize and execute weekend-long hackathons. And if you're not familiar with what a hackathon is, you can sort of think of it like a weekend-long invention marathon, where a bunch of folks get together, they share crazy ideas they have, and then they build software projects together. So that's been a lot of fun. And so we host 2 of those events a year for free, and sponsorships ultimately allow us to finance those events to be free to all attendees. So to date, we've organized 15 total hackathons, as well as a handful of different app challenges in partnership with AT&T. And as a consequence of our events, really 2 things happened. One is, over the years, we've been able to facilitate a couple dozen job opportunities with folks coming to our events. So local employer will reach out to us and say, hey, I'm looking to fill X, Y, and Z position at my company. And if we can help to connect the dots with folks in our local tech community, that's awesome. We get super excited when stuff like that happens. And secondly, is we've been able to build up quite a robust network of technologists, local employers, and academia over since 2013. And so that's sort of like the hackathon and event piece to it. And secondly, is Careers in Code, which is our free coding bootcamp for women and minorities to help fight poverty here in Central New York. So after 24 weeks of instruction, we provide our students with the skills that they need to be successful upon graduation with local employers, either in internships or entry-level positions. So we treat each one of our students as though they've been admitted on a scholarship. So they get free tuition, free laptop, free coworker membership, a spending stipend, and we have an individual who helps them navigate difficult problems and challenges they have. So for our first cohort, we executed in 2019 in partnership with Onondaga County, the Alliance for Economic Inclusion, CenterState CO, and the Tech Garden. And then we're very excited to announce that we're going to be organizing our second virtual cohort in partnership with CenterState CO and Lemoyne College's Erie 21 initiative, which I think you all heard about this morning. So we're very excited to be moving forward with that. And that's sort of Hack Upstate and Careers and Code in a nutshell. So thank you again for having me.
Thank you, Jesse. And I'm going to drop a link on the chat. I mentioned a bunch of community partners earlier, and we are hosting a series of webinars to better understand the services and products that they offer. And our first one would be Erie 21 and Hack Upstate. And anyone that comes will be able to ask more questions to Jesse, Amanda, and the people from those two organizations. So go ahead and register. It's free. It's next week, Wednesday at 8 in the morning. I love morning meetings. So at 8 o'clock sharp, we'll be meeting. Our last panelist I want to introduce is John Robinson. If you can come on for 90 seconds and just give us a brief overview of who you are and your organization.
I would love to talk for 90 minutes. That'd be fantastic. John Robinson, I own and founded Our Ability. We mentor, connect, and inspire people with disabilities towards employment. We use technology to do so, and I'll explain that a little bit more in my answers later. But the reason we do that is twofold. One, it's personal experience for me. Having graduated Syracuse University in 1990 and suffered unemployment after getting my degree, want to pay it forward to others in our community. And our community of people with disabilities are a lot bigger than the world knows. Upwards of 1 in 6 people in the world have a disability. And individuals with disabilities in this country are 70% unemployed. So what we're trying to do is to use technology to do a better job to lower that unemployment rate. And we're doing it in association with our friends at Microsoft and our friends at the iSchool at Syracuse University. And so we're really proud of that.
That's awesome. Thank you, John, for being with us today. If you have any questions for the panel, feel free to put them in the chat. We may not get to them, but still put them on there. Drop your contact information. I'll drop my contact as well so we can connect at a later point. So my first question is to Tim. You've been a fixture in the community for more than 50 years, like you mentioned, and your programs are constantly evolving and changing to fit the needs of the local workforce. I think that's what's great about SUNY EOC. You guys are so agile. Given your participation in Syracuse Surge, how is SUNY EOC using technology to help prepare a diverse workforce? And the second to that question is, what resources are available to the community?
Well, again, as far as the center and utilizing technology to prepare a diverse workforce, our overall enrollment on average annually, is roughly around 1,100 to 1,200 students. Because all of our programs are at no cost, the majority of the students, if not all fall within poverty guidelines, SNAP, TANF, generally. And again, our location targeted in the urban area. All those are words to say we're a very diverse organization. The majority of our students are underrepresented in many facets. So that alone, by preparing them, we're preparing a diverse group for entering the workforce. One of the key factors to all that, and especially now, and where Surge is going to play a vital role is, historically, we've tended to be able to prepare people, but we're not necessarily preparing them for cutting edge careers or things that are happening currently. You're preparing things that have already been established. And one of the ideas with the technology, and especially today, and if we're looking for an equitable economy, we need to be preparing people for the jobs as they develop now, so that workforce will be equitable. And that's where the technology comes in hand, because that is an equalizer in many aspects. It always has been. We can provide individuals with, customer training, call center, technology related to health healthcare fields, medical billing and coding, CNA, even within construction, where people say, well, where's the technology in that? There's technology embedded in everything. First of all, technology is everything. The pen we have is technology. If you don't think it was, talk to somebody who's using a pen with a feather on it. The ballpoint pen was technology when it came out. But the idea of us being able to ensure that the students that we have are engaged and coming out as prepared as possible and factor in as knowledgeable as possible of the technology and opportunities such as Hack Upstate or things that may be happening at the iSchool or Microsoft. Those are key components for what we intend to do. So how are we doing it? We're embedding the technology. All the students will be running through our Attain Lab, and I'll share that with you right now with some of the programs that we have available in it, if it's still here. Yes, it is, I think. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow, you guys have a lot of stuff.
So these are all the programs that are in our Attain Lab. There are a number of other programs that we have at the center, but all the students will have the opportunity to participate in all of these, as well as some of these will actually be requirements for some of the programs that they're in. I'll submit this to the group so they have it as a document, so everyone can look at it at their leisure. But again, the goal is to be able to engage our students while they're enrolled with the ability in the Attain Lab, as well as fields and employment opportunities as they start to develop. We have no idea. I mean, we know we have JMA that will be doing cell tower technology. We have a program right now with National Grid that's customer service energy management that leads them to a wide range of opportunities in National Grid. But we really don't know what might be a year from now as a result of COVID, or just in general as technology develops. So in a short way, I think our goal is to remain as flexible and to be able to work with any partner that's willing to work with us, that's willing to work with the students that we have.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim. I want to kick it over to Jesse. Can you share a little bit about how Hack Upstate is able to evolve and shift its programming to meet the needs of local employers? And why is it so important to consider employers' needs?
Yeah, absolutely. So first I'll talk just a little bit about like kind of our overall transition, with everyone in COVID. So as many organizations are, like, we're moving all of our events and programming and all that to a new virtual setting. And in fact, we just hosted our first virtual hackathon 2 weeks ago, which we learned a lot, but we thought it was a really awesome success for the community. So with that, our mission remains the same, right? All of our programs and events sort of just become in this new format. With that being said, obviously transitioning to remote and a new unique set of challenges and problems. And for careers in code in particular, like our main focus is still delivering the same quality of education and training to accommodate, these ever-changing times. And secondly, circling back on local employers and really getting them involved with careers in code. Ultimately, for our curriculum development, that is informed by our immediate central and upstate New York local employer needs. So we teach what employers are hiring for, in short. So for our first curriculum, we created, a custom curriculum that was based on that feedback from local employers and our instructors. So in doing so, we interviewed a handful of local employers, just asked them, what are your hiring needs? What should we teach, right? And then we use that feedback to help inform the curriculum's content, as well as its overall structure. And then as a result of that, we think that makes, coding bootcamp graduates in particular very appealing job candidates, right? Because they're learning the skills, the fundamental skills they need to be successful on the job day one. So after, our first cohort, we certainly learned a lot as well about what kind of worked well and what didn't work. And really for each cohort of careers in code, we'll continue to refine and update our curriculum to meet the unique needs of our local employers here in Central and Upstate New York. And just for an example as well, for our next cohort, we've been working closely with Liza and CenterState CEO to help issue a survey so that we can understand more on recruitment, training, and the technology, right? So that we can ultimately help to kind of inform those decisions. And I think that's another reason why coding boot camps are so popular. Again, just to hammer home, it's because those core programming fundamentals are tied to those market demands, right? And one of the things I'll mention just in terms of curriculum, while we're talking about it, we're fortunate to have a really awesome group of first-rate instructors who were instrumental in helping to facilitate feedback and inform our decisions. And so with that, we kind of say that they're the secret sauce, right? They're working in this technology all day, and then they teach our students in the stuff that they're working in. So they really understand the technology, and at the same time, they also understand what those hiring needs are as well in Central New York. So they've been instrumental. They're working with local employers, and they've helped to inform a lot of those decisions as well. So, ultimately, it's instrumental to have employer feedback for careers in code to be successful.
I just want to point here that I think one of the things that you guys do so well is that feedback from all points, right? The person that went through the training, the employers, the instructors, the support partners. You guys literally gather all that data to be able to adjust for the next time. And another thing that Nicole made me think about here in the chat is, can you share about what you see in the city regarding the volume of jobs openings and demand for programmers or related occupations? We just got some data from Burning Glass. Some of that information, software developers right now, there's 828 openings. Computer user support specialists around 458. And there's a few other ones that are under the tech developer industry, like business intelligence analysts, is 248. But one thing that I want to point out is that there needs to be a foundation of training, right? Jesse can only do so much. Tim can only do so much. We can get people to enter the job, but it's up to employers to continue that education once they're placed. If that doesn't happen, if we don't meet in the middle, then it's going to be really hard for people to be successful, because we can train until we're blue. And then once they get the job and the training stops, there is a lack of knowledge, of learning, and advancing even that. Please keep dropping your questions on there. My next question is to John. Syracuse Surge is focused on inclusive growth in the new economy. Our ability truly embodies this idea by leveraging technology to help people with disabilities apply for professional opportunities and also connect employers with disability business community, like you mentioned. What are some of the ways you're using technology to serve your clients? And given that COVID-19 has really pushed us to online and digital platforms, have you seen an increase in opportunities for the people that you serve?
100%. So we absolutely have. And one of the approaches that we've taken for years is that we're business centric first. So I'm a person with a disability. We help individuals with disabilities find employment. I mentioned the unemployment rates before, but we come at this not from the disability side of it, but from the business side of it, meaning the businesses that we're engaged with want to recruit individuals with disabilities into their workforce. And so one of the things that we've done for the past 8 years, and what I'm showing you is something that we've been working on for the past 18 months, but what we've done for the past 8 years is work with the business community to post jobs internal into our system, have them up on a website, and have individuals with disabilities that we work with through disability agencies have their skills and their information presented to the business community. What we're doing with technology in a major part because of the iSchool and iConsult and Syracuse University, and then the work that we're doing through Microsoft, is we've used machine learning to do a better job in creating a match between jobs that we have on the jobs board that are public and out there today, and then the data that we have from the candidates as they answer questions, as we ask them. The data in real time shows up in their profile and is matched with the jobs that are in the system. We found that it's so very important to use technology to be able to do that. And we know that technology can do a better job in engaging the business community, show the business community what is available today in as far as workforce is concerned. And like I said before, ultimately to lower the unemployment rate for individuals with disabilities. That is the ultimate goal. And we can use machine learning, we can use chatbots, we can use Amazon Alexa and Google Home to do this work where people are living. And the ultimate reason for this is that I know full well, while the disability community is 70% unemployed, you know, we're all using this. We're all using the phone, the tablet, the computer, even when we're unemployed, right? Even if you're developmentally disabled and you may not consider a college education, you're still using technology. So why don't we use technology to chat and converse and create a profile, and then go to the Price Choppers of the world, the Wegmans of the world, the Walmarts of the world, and say, hey, let's use machine learning to make better matches. That's what we're doing, and that's what we're really excited about doing, and extremely excited about the partnership with Microsoft and with iSchool.
That's awesome. Tim, back to you.
Sure.
It is clear that the ability of our training partners to adapt is vital to their success. Tim, you've done an incredible job adapting during the COVID pandemic, you and your team. Can you share some of the successes and some challenges? We want to learn about those too from the last 7 months.
Sure. I'll focus on the successes first. The challenges, I think everyone will know. You know, again, once it hit, we had to kind of go totally remote with everything that we were running. And at that time, some of the programs we had to just stop, but we were shortly able to pick them back up again. Even the ones that were in person, utilizing safe distancing. But the other ones, we were able to go directly to remote, and the faculty were able to, those who ever work with faculty and trainers, having them change something in the middle of a session is not the easiest thing. But they were able to adapt with their students, knowing that the students may not have all the material. So it was a hodgepodge of different efforts, from YouTube clips to Google Hangouts to MS Teams to a bunch of things. But over that course of time, again, going through the summer, we were able to regroup, institute some in-person training pertaining to construction, institute a customer service program, again, in collaboration, or both, I guess, in collaboration with CenterState, that worked with call center and done totally remote. We were able to continue on with, it's called Health Train, preparing individuals to enter into the health career fields, again, in a remote fashion. Again, all on the fly. And I'll say that I'm still, you know, give kudos to my team, because, again, it wasn't Tim. They were able to jump in and figure out the best way to serve the student where the student was at. So as we progress, you know, we were looking for that consistency. Presently now, all of our remote programs will be on MS Teams, just because it's a program that we find to be very useful, as well as we're already connected seamlessly for many of the other efforts that we have. Challenges, you just have to say it. We're working with a population that may not have the technology, nor is the connectivity. So when we look to the future with Surge, the connectivity is going to be there. The idea that we will have an immersive Wi-Fi or connectivity throughout the city, which is the majority of our students. The actual technology piece, that's what we're working on. And again, in our partnership with CenterState, we were able to obtain some technology for those students in those workforce development programs. We intend to embed that through all of our programs, as I mentioned before. And I talked about the Attain Lab. It's really a paradigm shift, because the lab's no longer going to possibly be this physical place where everybody comes. It most likely will be just a hub that is able to, I'll say, synergize all of our technology efforts, both remote and in-house, for the center. Because when you implement something that we intend to do, putting technology in people's hands that they can work at home, you need the support structures, you know, instrument, you know, issuing and bringing back, refurbishing, troubleshooting. You'll need to have someone, you know, on call. You know, one of my staff, she's on here now. I won't use her name because she didn't give me permission, but she said she's getting emails at 1 o'clock in the morning from students because they're doing the homework. Well, if you have kids, that's usually the time that you have to do it.
Right.
So as we look to the future, we see that. And as I mentioned earlier, I see it as an opportunity to reach more students. I see as an opportunity to overcome those historical hurdles that students had to do to engage in anything that might better them as far as an educational program or training. And our partners are recognizing that too. In the past, we've run a program for, we call them returning citizens, those who have been formerly incarcerated with OnPoint, really developing and supporting them academically to either enter the workforce or go into college. Well, most recently, because of it's all happened during COVID, and we're going to do our next session, they provided their students with that technology. So now we're able to bring those individuals who were formerly incarcerated to now obtain some type of education, either a certificate or training, without them, again, trying to come up with where that technology is. So the partners are important. I just want to mention one other thing. I think it's embedded in most of what we've talked about since the beginning of the seminar or the conference, is collaborations and partnerships in relationship to what Surge is doing. The collaborations and partnerships are essential. The historical aspect of Central New York and Syracuse, where we kind of have our own little pods and areas where we don't communicate, is not going to be anywhere effective or helpful as we progress for Surge. All those barriers that we once had between school districts and everything else needs to be a thing of the past for us to really be successful for both inclusion and developing a workforce for the future.
And Tim, I did not tell you to say all that, but that is a perfect segue to talk about the industry partnership that we formed in partnership with many of the speakers that you guys have heard speak today and yesterday. Again, if you are an employer and you're listening in, or if you're a support partner in the community and are interested in some of the work that we're doing with workforce, I am dropping my email right now as I speak. I would love to talk to you. We have a tech table of employers, 10 plus employers that we're looking to grow, as well as the Syracuse Surge Workforce Task Force, which include Jesse, Tim, again, ERE21, OnPoint for College, Say Yes, and many others, working together to create different strategies under the TERRA model, the training, attraction, retention, and advancement. And I will say the collaboration has been beautiful. I can't solve all these issues by myself. And the openness of sitting at a table together, especially during this COVID weird times that we're in, people really pushing through. And I really think the Zooms and the Microsoft meetings and all of that has enabled a lot of us to have more time, because I remember before COVID, I was driving everywhere. So this has been kind of like a blessing in disguise. So we are out of time. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. We'd love to connect with everyone. I want to thank all of our partners, Microsoft, the City of Syracuse, and who else? SUNY EOC, Hack Upstate, Our Ability. Thank you so much.